Hello and welcome back. If you remember first of all, apologies. I've had some family issues I've had to sort out, which has led to the delay in getting the tutorial done. I was taking a look last time at getting the window rendered, and then we put a delay in there. Now that delay is a long time, so I'm just going to reduce it to about 100 or something like that. I think it was in milliseconds, wasn't it? So I say yes on that, and I run it. I just want to make sure that we are, yeah. So that did delay it, and then the window disappeared. You probably didn't catch that because it was so quick. So we want to comment this out now, because what we want to do is we want to make it permanently appear for the duration of the game, and we do that through a game loop. And of course we need a way of exiting the loop, so let's create a variable to do that. So int, call it int close requested, and we'll set it to 0. Now 0's for a reason, because really we should be using boolean, and if we're using boolean then 0 is indeed false, so no one's requested to close the program, therefore it's false. Let's scroll down here. So we'll say while, I've just got to remember how to do this, while not int close requested, then we want to continue looping. So that's going to loop forever and a day. Let's just prove that. So we should end up with a window which persists now. Okay, and there's our window. Don't worry, it looks like it, the output windows on the front. It's not. What it's done is it's snapped it. So we've got like a snapshot of that area where it drew the window. Don't worry about that, that's absolutely fine. We need to render a surface on that window and that sort of stuff later on, but we'll worry about that later. I just want to get this persisting and exiting. So the problem we have now is that we need a method of quitting the program. So close requested, and I'm going to take that out of here as well. I'm just going to comment it out because it's bothering me. Rebuild. Just make sure it compiles. There's no reason why it shouldn't. So I think we need to monitor the SDL events, and from memory we do that using the SDL event. So we need an SDL event declaring, and we'll call it event, keep it simple. So if you're familiar with event-driven programming, you understand that there's events happening all the time and we need to monitor them. Obviously, and if you're coming from like a .NET background or something like that, all that's done for you. Well, we don't get any such pleasure in C. We'll do it ourselves, or in our case we're kind of cheating because we're letting SDL do it for us. So SDL is going to monitor the event. So we're going to say while, and I think it's SDL, is it poll event? It's been a long time, as I say. Yeah, SDL poll event, and then we need point to the address and the event. So we're keeping our eye on it. Okay. And then we want to say, well, event type, and then I think we're going case. Now this won't work, this won't quit it. This is just here as a fail safe in case we call SDL quit later on. Well, let's just get it covered. So close, was it int close requested? I can't remember now. Yeah, int close requested. I will set it to 1, which is effectively true. And then we need to come out of the switch statement because we're done with that block now, so we're not going to do any more. But now we need to get a bit cleverer. So now we're going to say, right, case SDL key down. Right. So in other words, if you press a key down, because you can actually measure the key up, believe it or not, we're only interested in the key down. So if it's a key down, then we're interested in what it was, right? I've just got to remember how to do this. It's been so long. I think we go another switch statement, and I think event dot key sim, is it? And then scan code. Yeah, so we need to get the scan code, and then we're going to use another switch, believe it or not. So I think, yeah, SDL is a scan code, doesn't it? So SDL scan code. Okay, do you notice how it saw that there, for example? So what it's saying is, if the key, I'm monitoring it, right? So you press the key down, I'm going to have a look at the code of the key, and if it happens to be E, okay, then I will do something. In our case, though, we want escape, don't we? So if the user presses escape, then we just set int close requested to 1, and then we're done here. To be honest, that would cover it. We should really have a quit event and all that stuff, which we're gonna do later on. But that would actually work, I think. Just gonna build it. I expect it to give me a ton of warnings because we haven't handled all of the key codes, but that's fine. That's what we expect. Yeah. So what it's saying is you could have all these things sort of happen. But you're not monitoring them. But actually, there's no point, is there? Well, there's no point saying, well, if it's this and this and this, do nothing. We might as well just not do it. I've made a small mistake here. I think I need a call on there. Let me just rebuild that. Okay, so all being well, if we run that now, we get our window, right? So that would be our game loop. So our game's in play now. Obviously, we've got to put our buttons on and handle the events and things. But I think we're getting something which looks like a program. I'm sorry for not getting it this far a bit sooner, if you've been looking at it and wondering where we're going with this. And as I say, this is just a snapshot of when it's through the window, and effectively we're going to put a surface on there and make it, just a typical window. Okay, so in theory, and I'm hoping, I say in theory because I'm hoping this works, if I press escape, this will stop the program. And it does. Okay, so just turn that off. Let me just recap as to why that was. So inside the game loop, we basically just go round and round and round and round again, right? Now, that will set to false. So in other words, while not true, i.e. false, keep looping. So it's come down here. When we've pressed the key down, it's not done this. It's not done any of that. It's done this. It's checked that there's been an event. The event was the key down, so it's jumped straight to here. It said, all right, what key was it? It was the escape, right? So if I press other buttons, it will jump into here, but it won't actually do anything with the other buttons. Well, that's exactly what we want. So as I said, we could call it and say if it's this, if it's that, if it's this, if it's da da da. We could say do nothing or whatever we wanted to do, but there's no point, is there? Unless we actually want to do something. It's just a warning in case that isn't the desired effect. So I'm going to run that now again and escape, and that's it. And I've done that so just so we can look at the output. If you can see the computer choice is 1 and the winner is 2, I'm not sure why it's given as a number. That will probably represent computer, I just can't remember because it's been a while. Or we'll worry about that in a minute on the next tutorial. So let's scroll back up. I wanted to show you what we did. We've hard-coded the player choice, right? So the reason that I've coded it this way, which is a bit odd, is that in fact inside the loop we're going to set this. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll draw 3 buttons on the form. So let's get the form back up. So we'll have we'll have a nice surface on it, and we'll have a button for rock, paper, scissors. And you'll select it, and then that we'll change it, and then that's pretty much functional then. All we've got to do is get the text on the screen to say, U1 or whatever, and convert them codes back to whatever it means in text, which is the computer 1, U1, or whatever. We could even add, if we wanted to, we could add a score tally up there. I'm probably not going to do that. I might leave you to do that once we've got a proper functional game. Okay, that's it basically. I hope you find that useful. Do you know what? I told you a lie. When I said that SDL quit doesn't do anything, when I pressed that X, that fired that quit event, otherwise that wouldn't have actually done anything. So that's interesting. Okay, so let me just recap on that. Right, it's just been a long time. I just remember coding this in, right, so I did it from memory, if you like. So the SDL quit event, when you press the button, at that point it come into here and said there was an event which occurred. What was it? Well, you was quitting, so it was the SDL quit event. Set it to that and then close it. There is actually an SDL quit method, I believe, that we can use to tidy up some stuff, which we're going to need once we start rendering graphics and things on the screen. Okay, that is it now. Hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching.